What's up, guys? This is John, and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. Today, I have for you my latest dollar book haul from whatnot seller Harvey Dot's Comics. Now, you know I love my dollar comics, but I think in this haul in particular, there are some great key issues that I was able to pick up on the cheap. In particular, there is one issue of Daredevil from the Frank Miller run that I can't wait to share with you. But honestly, there were a lot of bangers in this haul, and it was hard to choose a favorite. So without further delay, let's get into the haul. Alright guys, so we're spun around onto the tabletop view. Now before we get any further, if you want to help support the channel, please do all the YouTube things, like, comment, and subscribe. All these things are quick, easy ways to help grow the channel. Alright, so let's first start off with some freebies I got in this latest batch of dollar books. First one is this guy right here, Batman, Punisher, Lake of Fire, one of the crossovers, but this one's a little special in that it is signed with the certificate of authenticity. So the signatures here are from writer Dennis O'Neil and artist Barry Kitson. There were two Batman Punisher crossovers at this time. I believe they're published pretty closely to each other. What's interesting is this is the one with Azrael Batman with Punisher, while the other one is by Frank Miller, I think, or the art at the very least is by John Romita Jr., and that one has your more traditional Bruce Wayne Batman along with Punisher. I used to have this book, and somewhere along the way in the past purge, it went bye-bye. So not only am I happy to have a copy back in the collection, but a signed copy as a freebie, no less. Now the other freebie, maybe less exciting. Sometimes there are low or super duper, uber duper, low grade books that just get offered up for free. And while I'm not 100% behind low grade is better than no grade, free is free, and I do love the Fantastic Four. So here is a mostly coverless version of Fantastic Four 103. This is probably one of the oldest comics I have in my collection. 15 center, so I'm not sure exactly where that puts us. If it's in the, I'm pretty sure that's still Bronze Age, right? I am not super knowledgeable on older books, as you probably know. But here's a cool one, and what's funny is that peeking through, you can see Namor and you see Magneto, but he's in a slightly altered version of his costume. It's almost like he's armored up. So also you can kind of see the credits peeking through by Stan Lee and John Romita. So yeah, this is, you know, not a looker by any means. I mean, given that there's barely any cover, but as I'll flip through this, and it should be a good time. So those were some of the fun freebies I got in this order. Next up, we got Avengers Annual number 12. This cover just popped to me. It's got an Al Milgrom cover. The team at the time lined up in the formation of an A. Also, I had heard this was a fun story, so I grabbed that one. Then we got Batman number 502, part of NightQuest The Crusade. This was the one that was missing in my previous dollar box. It is now there, so that I have I think like 500 to like 504, something like that. And following the thread of Azrael Batman, we've got a gimmick cover. I do not remember this one from back in the day. This is Detective Comics number 675. There is a standard cover, but this, I mean, kind of like with all the 90s covers, foily goodness, we've talked about how 90s this costume is. I had to... I just had to have that to my collection as well. Alright, so we'll clear that out of the way because we have a bunch of Captain Americas coming up. These next few, they had some issues in the early 200s in newsstand. I looked it up, and while there's nothing particular, a key issue about it, this is a part of Cap that I'm less familiar with, so these will be fun reads. That was issued, 229 and 231. These are 35 centers. That's quite the striking cover there with the Burning Cross. Issue 235. Got Daredevil there, part of the action. So those were my newsstand pickups. This is just an older issue. Issue 249 I want to say that this one piqued my interest in that it's written by Roger Stern and it's got art by John Byrne. Some classic art by John Byrne, no less. And then filling in my Captain America kind of 300 plus, 300 to 400 range, we got issue 311 fighting awesome android there. He's got his shield stuck right in his head. Issue 313. This featured the death of MODOK, as many villains and superheroes do. He got better, so MODOK's not dead. Then we've got issue 315. We've got the Serpent Society there. That is frightening with the unhinged jaw. Then we've got issue 320. This features the death of the Scourge. Scourge was gunning down villains left and right. A lot of C, D list villains got taken out during this storyline. It's a bit of a mystery who Scourge was. I only know kind of like the quick summary version of the story, but now that I have the majority of the issues, looking forward to going back and reading that storyline. Then we have issue 324, and this features the first cameo of Slug. We'll put a picture up here since he's not on the cover itself, but I kind of associate him with the, I think there's a Web of Spider-Man annual cover with him on it. He is an obese gangster associated with the Kingpin. Then we have issue 327 here. Very cool dynamic cover. This features the second appearance and first cover appearance of John Walker as Super Patriot. And last for the caps, we have issue 351, and we got old school Nick Fury on there with Cap. And following Cap, we've got this fabulous group of Dazzler books. Dazzler number 2, Dazzler number 7, got the Hulk there. Dazzler number 8, and Dazzler number 9. This one, kind of lower grade. It's got Quasar though, and you guys know how much I love Quasar. I'm not sure why I went for these issues. They were all up on the wall at the time of claiming, and they kind of just spoke to me. It was probably an impulse buy, maybe not the wisest of choices, but I do want to shout out Nate from Hall Yeah Comics, because now I guess I've associated this character with him. Please go check out Nate's channel and live streams. He does such a great job as a host. We'll leave a link down in the description below. But will this be the last of my Dazzler buys? I don't think so. However, I will focus my search onto just some of the great covers I've seen in the past. Some Bill Sienkiewicz covers. The next grouping of books here is from DC Comics. And I know I've been wanting to expand some DC. And this actually helps me fill out my Jeff Johns run, which I missed probably like the first dozen or so issues on the run and then collected it. Jeff Johns was actually a major entry point for me in really loving DC books. Titles like The Flash, JSA, Hawkman, and ultimately Green Lantern. He did such a phenomenal run on that. So I wanted to grab some of The Flash here. I am almost complete. I think I'm down to 1 or 2 after the books I show you. But here's 166. Issue 167, and please note there's some amazing covers by Brian Boland here. He's not doing the interior art, but I think actually all the covers we're going to look at feature Brian Boland art, and that's just some creepy mirror versions of Flash. Well, actually just mirror version of Flash, and then Mirror Master and Captain Cold. Issue 168. Keystone City's gone. Issue 169. The Guillotine. Issue 171, very cool cover there where Flash is encountering a cult. And issue 172, said cult leader is the villain Cicada. And issue 172 features his first full appearance. So, great run on Flash. If you have not checked out Jeff Johns' run on Flash, I highly recommend it. He does such a great job with building up the mythos, building up a fantastic version of Zoom, who is kind of his take on the Reverse Flash. And now we have some hodgepodge of books. We've got Ghost Rider and Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance, still in the poly bag. That was an impulse buy. Let me know if you guys have this issue at home with the bag. I think it's gonna be hard to pick up on the camera, but it looks like there's on the poly bag itself an outline of Ghost Rider, like the flame skull head. It's very faint, but that's what I think I see. Then we got some 2099 goodness with Hulk 2099. This is one I never had initially. Hulk 2099, funny enough, appeared in 2099 Unlimited, #1. I think I have that book, maybe? At least in the past I had that book, but I never had his #1 issue. So I love these, the 90s 2099 covers with the foil outline. Then we got some Iron Man 174. This was a cover by, it's a newsstand edition, hooray, I don't really care, but some people do. I just love all the various armors at the time featured on this cover. That was just neat. And then issue 285, and this is when we have Rhodey as War Machine, and these were his early issues there. So 285, 286, and then 290. I mean, they were really pumping out these foil covers. I think 288 had the War Machine version. 290 has this, version of Tony's armor. I forget all the name of the armors, but I think this was the modular one. This is the one that would appear in the 90s Iron Man cartoon, which I don't know if you guys remember watching that one. If not, it is on Disney Plus if you do want to take a look. I also have fond memories of this version of the armor because the Iron Man toys at the time, which were foiled out as well and had removable armor pieces, it was this version of Iron Man. So, needless to say, some good amount of nostalgia with this version. All right, well, moving on, we've got some great books here from Marvel Comics Presents, issue 82 and 83. From the phenomenal Weapon X storyline that had such fantastic art from Barry Windsor Smith, and a very kind of dark, brooding story that I think it's been retconned or changed, but this was kind of the closest thing that we got as far as getting more information on Wolverine's origin at the time. So I think I'd like to track down the other parts. I know it's spread out over a dozen different issues, but snagging these at $1 was a no-brainer, and the rest, I think, not looking to spend a lot on them, but given the importance of the story and how enjoyable and how great the art is, not a problem to hunt that down. And then one other Marvel Comics Presents, issue number 98. While not part of the Weapon X storyline, it is notable for giving us the origin of the name Wolverine, given to Logan by Native Americans of the Blackfoot tribe. When translated, means skunk bear. Shout out to Key Collector for that tidbit of info. Now for this haul, I have to say there are a number of comics that really stuck out to me that I definitely have multiple favorites because of it, and this is one of them. It is the Marvel Masterpieces Collection #2. I think I first saw this miniseries featuring the art of Joe Jusko for the first Marvel Masterpiece card set. I think I saw Mike at Lunch Money Comics feature this, and I absolutely love this series just to show off some of the art. It also said premiering 5 all-new paintings. So Joe Jusko did all of Series 1, and I think some of the unused pieces went to Marvel Masterpieces Series 2. I mean, look at that Thanos. It's great. Sinister. And given the larger format, compared to the trading cards, it's really cool to see more like the brush strokes and just a better appreciation of the art. Apologies if the top is getting cut off, as I still don't. I'd love to be able to figure out a good top-down option with the camera, but in the meantime, this will do on the tabletop view. Joe can draw some smexy ladies here. Silver Sable. Psylocke, I think that's... a lot of people know that piece. So I absolutely love the Marvel Masterpiece trading cards and those early trading card sets, X-Men, just the Marvel Universe cards. That is a fantastic Black Cat right there. People do love Black Cat, North Star. So, this one, we'll finish on this one. This was one of the chase cards in the series. There were 5. I forgot if they're called hollow foil or etch or something like that, but it was all tricked out. It's kind of cool to see just the straight up, original painted version there. So there were 4 issues. 4 issues produced of this, and then I think they might have done a subsequent series, but I'd love to pick up issues 1, 3, and 4. So this is probably one of my favorite pickups from this group today. And then moving forward, we have some more Marvel 2-in-1s, a series that it's an old school series that I just really, I don't know, the art appeals to me this time in Marvel. It's way before I was born, mind you, but so issue 67, 71. This issue in particular, 71, features the first appearance of Maelstrom. He's an inhuman deviant hybrid, and his lackeys, Gronk, no relation to the football player, Phobius, Helio, and a cameo appearance by Death Urge. And most of those characters, this is kind of a low-grade newsstand version, but most of those characters probably have no meaning to the majority of you out there. I came across Maelstrom and all those characters through a story arc in Quasar. Don't you love how Quasar keeps coming up? And it makes sense because Mark Grunwald is who wrote the Quasar series. He's the one writing this storyline with Maelstrom and company. And speaking of Quasar, there he is. Issue 73, Trapped on a World of Dinosaurs. Issue 89. I don't even know what's going on there. Issue 94. I really like this. I think video games were in. This might have been after the first boom with video games. I think this might predate the Atari, or maybe right around the same time. I just love the kind of the retro nature of this. I love retro games. 16-bit era is kind of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Issue 96. And another video game adjacent cover, number 98. Alright, moving along, we've got Silver Surfer 122, featuring Legacy, aka Captain Marvel, aka Photon. I have no idea what he wound up, name-wise, but what's notable about this time in Silver Surfer is George Perez was writing the series at the time. And this is where I had stopped collecting Silver Surfer already, but, after completing my issues of 1 to 100 a few months ago, I am now going to just keep my eye out for the rest of the series. It was so pivotal as far as my comic collecting journey, and it'll provide some new reading as well. And then we got some Thor. 442, it's nothing key about this one other than featuring one of my favorites, Beta Ray Bill. But funny enough, this was one of my first Thor comics. It might have been my very first Thor comic, gotten from a multi-comic pack that just had a grab bag of stuff through Toys R Us. And I got exposed to a lot of series that way. I have long, since moved on my original copy. But as I've said many times on these dollar hauls before, I was kind of want to scratch that itch. 445 was another one that I got from the similar comic packs. 446. These issues are happening during Operation Galactic Storm. That's part 14, and that was a huge crossover in Avengers and Avengers adjacent books. And finally for Thor, we have issue 450, a very cool cover there, homaging the first appearance of Thor, Journey into Mystery, as you can see there. And of course, oh look, it's Mephisto. This issue, besides being extra large, also has a reprint on the reverse side for Journey into Mystery 85. So that's kind of cool. 2 for the price of 1. Kind of. Aside from the nice round number of 450 and the homage cover, it also features the first appearance of Blood Axe. Alright, we're coming in the home stretch now. Got a few more issues for my Wolverine first ongoing. Issues 81, 82. Just some fantastic covers by Adam Kubert. Really. Adam Kubert, Adam Silvestri. No, sorry. Adam Kubert, Mark Silvestri, John Byrne. So many great covers in this run. Issue 86. Issue 87 featuring The Gambit. Issue 89. Isn't that a teaser? There's not issue 88, the one with first meeting with Deadpool. That is obviously not a dollar book, but it is one. It'll probably be the last book I get. I'm not trying to get the entire Wolverine ongoing series, but focusing on issues 1 to 100. I am very close to it, but 88. I'm glad to say I'm keeping an eye on it. And the prices have come down since when the Deadpool Wolverine movie first came out. So the time to strike might be soon. But as you guys might know, I'm also hunting some other pretty big books at the time, and it is relatively low priority. So that was issue 89, and last but not least, issue 91. And we have one X book here, but it's kind of an important one. X Factor issue 38, Giant Size Spectacular. This is part of the Inferno storyline. It's kind of towards the tail end, and this one is notable because it features the origin and death of the Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor. Also, this is where Warren Worthington, formerly the Angel, gets the name Archangel from his buddy Beast. Now, I mentioned there are a lot of books which I would count amongst my favorites in this pickup. It's hard to beat this one here. Daredevil 176. Sometimes things slip into the dollar boxes and are more valuable than than a dollar would be. This is not necessarily. This is not low grade, but maybe like mid grade. There's some spine ticks, but it is a newsie. And issue 176 of Daredevil is during that, classic Frank Miller run. And this one is notable because it features the first appearance of Stick, the teacher of Daredevil and Elektra. And I actually don't own any of the single issues of that classic Frank Miller run, but I greatly enjoy it. I think it's such a great read. But man, I'm rereading some of these early issues, and I'm a big fan of his early works. Also, I'm really on a Daredevil kick right now and kind of expanding my collection as far as Daredevil books go. So to be able to snag this one from the dollar show was such a big get. It's not going anywhere. This is going into most of the time I'm showing you stuff, things are going into the personal collection. And it's just great timing that everything lined up that way. So that was my dollar book haul for this time around. Let's spin the camera back around and wrap things up. So was I right or was I right? I mean, the first appearance of Stick, Frank Miller written, drawn issue of Daredevil, for someone who is on a big Daredevil kick right now, I mean, that's a win all around. But let me know, what was your favorite issue? What are some recent pickups and scores that you've had in your comic collection? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I just want to thank you for your time in checking out this video, for your continued support on this channel, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.